This is Eric Savitz from Forbes. I am at the Economy Conference, and I'm sitting with John Hagel from the Center for the Edge, which is an arm of Deloitte. And we're going to talk a little bit about the work that you've been doing about one of the toughest problems that the technology industry faces, which is finding talent.
You talk to any senior executive what their top priorities are, they'll inevitably say talent. But when you drill down one more level and ask them, well, so what are you doing about talent? What's your focus? Most executives will come back and say, we've got two priorities. One is attracting world-class talent. We invest a tremendous amount in recruiting, finding the best people, and then retention of talent, right? If there's any indication somebody's unhappy,
we gotta find them
and hold them.
Okay.
But there's a missing middle in there,
Right.
which is what do you do with them while you have them? And the whole point, we believe, is that if you focus on developing talent and do that in a world-class way, you'll attract all the talent you can possibly handle, because word will spread that you're going to develop faster in this environment than anywhere else. And why would they leave?
And people do in-house training and courses.
And our belief is that in a world that's more rapidly changing, where there's more and more uncertainty, training programs are backward-looking. They train you in what was required 6 months ago, a year ago, right? So there's a lag time, and the most effective training is what occurs day to day on the job in the work environment. Now, if you took that seriously and said, how am I going to redesign the work environment to accelerate talent development, now you got something pretty interesting.
It sounds like what you're talking about is a more informal kind of learning process.
Yes. If you shift your focus and say, okay, let's look at the day-to-day work environment. Where are the learning opportunities? One of them is what's known in the enterprise world as exception handling, right? We've invested tons of money in automating all these business processes. The dark secret is a ton of exceptions get thrown out of these automated processes because they don't meet the policies, procedures that we've defined in advance. That's an unexpected situation. It's an opportunity to learn.
Have you found that this works, this idea, this approach works better in particular settings or with particular kind of job classifications?
I love the question because it addresses another kind of mind bug that I see in a lot of executives when I talk about talent development, is often they'll think about, oh, it's your high potential management ranks, or it's your knowledge workers, the creative talent. Our belief is talent is every employee in the company. So my great example that's a bit counter to this mind bug is what Toyota did on the front line of the assembly line operations in the manufacturing of cars, right? They said, okay, you as a frontline worker, you do have some repetitive, mundane tasks you have to do because that's part of the job. But by the way, problems emerge on a daily basis, unanticipated problems. Your job, your real job, is to identify those problems and solve those problems. And by the way, if you can't solve it on your own, you know, at your station, we're going to put a pull cord next to your station. You pull that cord, the entire assembly line is going to screech to a halt, and you're going to get swarmed with a team whose sole function is to help you solve that problem. And you're going to be a hero for having pulled that cord. Passion levels went way up because now these manual factory operators were being redefined as creative problem solvers and seeing how they could have impact on the business.
So you're not a drone.
You're not a drone. You're making a difference.
I wonder also when places where you get that kind of development, if you end up with a stickier workforce.
You're forming a very rich network of relationships, and it's reciprocal, right? They help you, you're going to help them, and you develop this connection that makes it very hard over time to leave.
I want to ask you something else on the topic of staffing, particularly in the Valley. You hear a lot of complaints from Valley CEOs that, you know, we train people, you know, they come over here from India or China or wherever. They get degrees from our universities, and then we tell them they have to leave. Do you worry about that problem and sort of talent leakage from our own sort of ill thought out?
You know, I do, and we've got this polarized political environment today, which is largely threat-based, you know, each side talking about the imminent threat from the other side. If we reframed around talent development, I'm an optimist, I come from Silicon Valley, My hope is that it actually provides a way to bring us together, because I think all of us recognize the value, not just for us individually, but as a society, in having more rapid talent development. A substantial portion, I think it's about half of the entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, were not born in the US.
They want to be here. So whether they're right or not, let's not argue with them. They want to start their company in Sunnyvale, then we should encourage them to start their company in Sunnyvale.
But it's a great example. Again, Silicon Valley over decades has developed a reputation as a place where you can develop your talent as an entrepreneur, as an engineer. This is the place to be. And so word of mouth spreads, and you can attract all the talent you can possibly handle as long as you don't block them and retain them for as long as you want, as long as you don't throw them out. And that's the key to success, I think.